Oh, sure.
Okay, so today we are here at the Zaluch Gar, which is the which falls in the western salt range. Yesterday we have seen the Trans-Indus ranges, and we have seen the Jurassic onward sequence of Eocene. In the eastern salt range, we have seen the Precambrian, Cambrian, and the early Permian, Tobra and Dundod formation. And then in the central salt range, we have seen the Dundod formation, the tidal plate fascies of the Dundod formation. Today we are here at the outcrop of Tobra formation. The difference between Tobra formation of this region and eastern salt range is here you have this clay-rich, unsorted, unstratified lithology. You don't have those concentrated boulder beds which have been observed in the eastern salt range. So some people say that these are the outwash plain, the frontal area of the glacial ice sheet, because the ice sheets were moving from east to the west. Why we say that? Because you have this pink granite, and pink granite is located in the Aravali and Melani ranges of India, which is located in the east. So it's not present in the west. So that's why these ice sheets were moving from east to west. So definitely the outwash plain was located somewhere in the western salt range. Then since these ice sheets they start melting, so then the sea level start rising in the eastern salt range. So we have Dundod formation, tidal plate fascies of Dundod formation. The central salt range, we don't have any Dundod formation. So we have the overlying Varcha on top of Tobra. In between, the Dundod fascies are missing. So there are two scenarios through which you can explain the pinching of the Dundod formation. Number first is that while the marine and tidal plate fascies were deposited in the eastern salt range, here the fluvial fascies of the Varcha were deposited.
Yes,
You know? So the lower part of the Varcha sandstone will be equivalent to the marine and marginal marine fascies of the Dundod formation. So that's one possibility. Second possibility is that Dundod was deposited here as well, but that has been eroded.
Yes.
And number third possibility is that this area was uplifted during the deposition of Dundod formation. So you have non-deposition. On top of Tobra, you have non-deposition, and then during and later on when the Dundod was deposited over here, so the east area subsided, and this whole area from eastern to central and western salt range, that was converted into a fluvial setting. So that's point number one. Point number second, yesterday we were discussing the differential erosion along the unconformity. We have seen that in some areas you have more erosion, some areas were less eroded.
Yes, sir.
जो हम recent strip में देखते हैं. Here, when you go to this gorge, there is a narrow gorge over there. So you have the Tobra lying directly on top of the Precambrian salt range formation. So you have marl, gypsum, and the Tobra is deposited on top. So this Cambrian succession is missing. So that means you have deeper erosion over here, because that Cambrian system is there in the eastern salt range. On top of Precambrian, you have Cambrian, and then you have Tobra. Here, the Cambrians are not here, so Tobra is depositing on top of the Precambrian. So it represents a differential erosion. And the example of the differential erosion even is clear from this outcrop. You see this recent conglomerate.
Yes.
So that is lying on top of this Tobra formation, right? So when you go on the on that side, you will see that conglomerate is deposited on top of Varcha.
Yes, sir.
तो वहाँ पे आपके पास वार्चा के ऊपर हैं, यहाँ पे आपके पास डीपर एरोजन है, यहाँ के ऊपर आपके पास तोबरा है.
Yes.
इसी को आप बेस्टल स्केल के ऊपर जूम करें तो बेसन में भी यही होता है. बाहर जगह पे आपके पास जो है ड्राइनेज पैटर्न जो है वो आपके पास ज़्यादा होती हैं, तो यू हैव डीपर एरोजन, बाहर जगह पे नहीं होती, तो यू हैव शैलो एरोजन. Number third is when these ice sheets started melting, so definitely the bed load was high. when is the bed load high? When you have high gradient,
Yes, sir.
or when you are closer to the catchment area from where the sediments are eroded. So these ice sheets were melted in this area in eastern salt range and central salt range, and the fluvial system came out of it. So that means the source area was closed, and there were a lot of sediments, moraine sediments. So those were picked up by these rivers. So that's why you have this high bed load river streams. And that is when you have high bed loads, you have breaded stream, and that breaded stream is deposited at the base of the Varsha. So you have pibbly, coarse grain, gritty sandstone, devoid of shale. Because in breaded stream you don't have shale because you don't have flooding plain. We have discussed that you have the width to depth ratio is very high, so they are very wide, these breaded river. So even though if the floods come, so they all of the floods are accommodated within the channel. The water doesn't come out of the channel. Yeah. So at the base you have this breaded channel, but then when the ice sheet started melting, you have this breaded channel, further melting of the ice sheet. So then slowly and gradually the sea level start rising, and when the sea level start rising, so the fluvial breaded channels usually converts into meandering channel. So when you go upward in the water sandstone, so you have the appearance of the shale. You have channelized bed and appearance of shale. So the breaded river is converted into a meandering river. ठीक है,
Yes.
यहाँ तक काफ़ी है सर, आपको फर्दर एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, फिर आगे जब हम आउटक्रॉप पे जाएंगे तो उसको डिस्कस